Students deserve a clear idea of what success looks like. Have you seen learning goals, success criteria and exemplars in your classroom?
Yes, I have.
You have. And
Yeah.
how long have you been at our college?
Since term 3 of last year.
Okay, so you've had about 6 months and you've noticed those things in action. So that's an exciting thing for me to notice. Do you find them helpful?
Yes, they are.
Have you seen
yeah.
those sort of tools in your classroom?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen any of those three things in your classrooms?
Yeah, pretty often. They're printed on every assignment sheet, every task sheet, even exams now.
How do you use them to make your work better?
Well, what you do is you either start off doing it how you think you want to do it and then refer back to it and correct your work so you can get the A standards that they give you. So there's like A standard career and B and C, and then basically change your work to the A standards so you can get the best possible.
Yes, I have.
Oh, that's really good news. How do you use them? Do you find them helpful?
I found them very helpful because I can look back to them. It's like even if it's just midway through an assignment, and I'm not quite sure if I've followed up all the things I need to do, I can look back on the success criteria to have a look at to see if I've done all the aspects of the assignment I need to do.
That is such good news to me because that's one of the most perfect ways I like to see it used. Have you noticed any of those sort of things here at the college?
Yes. Definitely every assignment that you get, every schoolwork you do, you have your learning goals blue tacked to the wall or your success criteria on your assignment sheets. And I know it really helps me when I'm trying to do my assignments. I can read through the success criteria and see what an A standard is and try and work a little bit to that. And it helps, especially if I give exemplars. I can be like, oh, okay, so that's something that they've done really well that maybe I need to focus on a little bit more when I'm doing my assignment to help bump it up to a higher grade. So you can definitely see it in every class that you walk into.
Have you seen any of those in operation at the school?
Yeah, most teachers use them. Lots of exemplars, which is good. And we always get a success criteria thing usually.
You're new to our school. Have you noticed any of those things around?
Yeah, lots of the teachers use the learning goals and the success criteria.
Yep.
And we've had a couple assignments with exemplars. But
Excellent. So how do you find the learning goals and success criteria compared to like last year? Do you think it's better? Do you think it makes no difference?
It helps having like the steps laid out in front of you just so you know what you're doing.
Have you seen any of those three things in your classrooms?
Yes.
Yeah, I have in every class I've done.
Yeah, the one that would stand out the most would be English because we have a website and everything is on the website. We've got the learning goals of our assignments and everything on the walls as well, and we have exemplars that we can access at any time.
Okay. And do you find them helpful?
Yeah, they're very helpful.
Every teacher I've ever had at Riverside's done that.
Okay. And how long have you been at Riverside?
Since grade 8.
Okay, and it's grade 11 at the
grade 11,
moment.
yeah.
That's really nice to hear.
Learning goals, a clear idea of what we're expected to learn.
Interesting. Learning goals on the walls. Do you find them that you look at them at all, or are they just there?
Well, I do look at them, especially when we have class time to work on our assignments, which is really helpful. Instead of going through the website and getting it, it's right there for you to access immediately.
So why would you look at that learning goal on the wall when you already know what the assignment is about?
Mostly to improve my grade and make sure that I am actually getting the assignment right, because even though we know what the assignment is, you don't know every criteria that you have to meet.
We usually get one for each assignment, and we usually write it down in our assignment sheet or put it up on a wall somewhere, on a poster.
And do you find it helpful to know what the specific target is for that assignment?
Yeah, it does help because like if you like wondering how you're going, you can look up to the learning goals and ask yourself if you got everything.
And with the learning goals, it tells you that that's what you have to focus on in the lesson, nothing else. Well, yeah.
That is the perfect answer, actually. That's what you have to focus on and nothing less. That gives you a really clear target.
With learning goals, we plan long-term targets, and we try to work towards those targets using the learning goals. We find the learning goals using the work that we've done in the past.
Success criteria, scaffolding the steps to success.
Ah, interesting. Why is that? What do you like success criteria best?
It's got all your information of what you need to do and how you can get the highest mark needed.
I like it when the teachers explain the success criteria, like this is what you need to do to get an A. I normally do it when I finish the assignment to make sure that I've done everything, and if I haven't done something, I'll just put something extra into the assignment.
Okay, so like a checklist.
Yeah, like a checklist.
So far, when have you used the success criteria? When have they become important to you?
Usually just during the assignments when we're at home, and if you get lost or stuck, or even you've just got to figure out what you're doing next, you can refer back to them and make sure you know what you're doing.
We go through it together as a class, like at the beginning, so we know exactly what we have to do straight away, which is really helpful because then we don't have to go back and recheck it over and over again. But while we're doing the assignment, we can double check it up, like by ourselves.
And do you use it at the end before you submit your work?
Yeah, just double check, making sure I've got everything.
Yeah, usually with Mrs. Gold, for example, we when we have an assignment, we usually sit on the floor in the back of our room and get our assignment sheet, look at the criteria on the back, the marking criteria, and write down a success criteria for how we could get a good grade for the assignment. Usually we make it at the very beginning, but the whole way through the assignment we refer back to it for information, or if we have any trouble thinking of ideas, go back to the success criteria and have a look at it.
So with the success criteria, when do you first see them?
We usually write them up when we get our assignment, and we get maybe 5 to 10 success criteria points.
And how do you use them?
They tell you exactly things you have to need.
Which one do you find the most helpful?
The success criteria.
Okay, and why do you like success criteria particularly?
Because it kind of helps me get through my assignment. If there's things I need, it helps me kind of like a tick off list of what I need.
Like a checklist?
Yeah, like a checklist.
And do you use that, halfway through an assignment, at the end of the assignment? When do you use it, or all the time perhaps?
Halfway through assignment, definitely at the end of an assignment.
The success criteria, do you find those helpful as you're doing an assignment?
Yes, it helps. It's like a guideline for you to follow.
And some students use it pretty well regularly throughout an assignment. Others at the very beginning and the very end as a checklist. Which sort of student are you?
I kind of use it as a checklist at the end to make sure I've covered it, then I'll go back and check, and then I'll fix everything up.
Very nice. And the success criteria, when do you start using those in your work?
Well, we do it at we go through them at the start when we first get the sheets, and we work as a class to find goals for the success criteria, but we use it all throughout the assignment.
Right. Exemplars, providing examples of what high quality work looks like.
And then we usually have a look at someone's assignment from the year before.
So we teachers would use the word deconstruct there. So we would say that we try to pull apart what is it in that assignment that matches to your marking rubric. So is that what you're doing? Are you actually comparing it to the marking rubric at that point?
Yeah, so we compare it, and we also note what they've done well and what they could have done better to help improve our own assignments.
The exemplar, do you find that helpful to see a replica of what a really good piece of work looks like?
Yeah, I do find it helpful because you can compare yours to that one and have a look to see if yours needs some improvement to get the mark you want.
With an exemplar, it must be really easy to not think any bigger than how they present the exemplar. How do you make sure that you're not just copying it in the same way?
You can refer to a lot of ones and kind of put all your ideas together.
Definitely the exemplar.
Okay, and why is that?
Because you can follow it and judge your work against the exemplar as well.
Okay, and when the teacher gives you the exemplar, are they explaining to you what it is about that exemplar which is such good work?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Well, they'll show you like what you need to do and how, like if it's an old person's work, they'll show you how they've done it and compared it to how you've got to do it.
Okay. In my perfect world, the teacher would bounce from that into success criteria.
Yeah.
Is that how you generally find it works?
Yeah, that's how.
Do you find that teachers explain well why it's high quality? What is it about it? How do they do that? How do they explain
They
why
just
it's
like
good?
they take it apart in like parts. So like they'll do just say it's like an essay. They'll do the introduction. They'll take a part of like, oh, this is what would be an A standard thing in the introduction, and then they'd go down.
I would probably use a exemplar because I could just work my way up to like an A standard.
And when the exemplar is given to you in class, how does the teacher make you understand why it's high quality work? How do they, rather than just give it to you and say this is good work, how do you understand why it's good work?
Because they thoroughly like go through it, and say if it was English, they would go through the techniques used and they would say why that is a standard because they've used this technique and that technique.